Good evening. My name is Tabitha Laverty. I'm our Chief Operating Officer at the Accelerator Center. Welcome to She Talks Tech. We are super excited to welcome you guys this evening to a special She Talks Tech. If you've been here before, put your hands up real quick. Not your first She Talks Tech. That means the rest of you, it is your first She Talks Tech? Lots of hands, wonderful. If it is not your first, you'll know that typically we have a wonderful panel of amazing women that speak to you about their experience, their advice as women that work in the technology space. And we have a little bit of a different format tonight where we're actually going to get you working together with our speaker, Erica. So if you haven't picked up one of the little worksheet booklets, Shreya's got them here at the back. Just throw your hand up. She can bring you one. You will need that throughout the course of the evening. But what we're going to be chatting about tonight is about personal branding and how your personal brand impacts how you're perceived in your career, how you're perceived in your personal life, and different ways that you can develop a personal brand, communicate your personal brand, and evolve your personal brand as your career evolves as well. So as we get started here, there's just a few people I need to thank. So first, we'd like to thank our sponsors this evening, as always, Catalyst Commons, for offering us this wonderful and beautiful space, and your amazing staff team. I will hold for applause because they deserve it. And also this evening, we're very fortunate to have sponsorship from BMO, Bank of Montreal, who's provided the wonderful drinks and the charcuterie cups for you as well. So we would just like to take a moment to introduce our speaker for this evening, Erica Pearson. Erica is a career strategist, two-time entrepreneur, and former tech leader who's built her career on intentional personal branding. She is a wonderful speaker. She's going to do a really amazing interactive workshop with you all this evening, and I encourage you to connect with her on LinkedIn after the event. A couple things that I also just want to bring to your attention. First of all, we are live streaming this evening. You'll see the wonderful cameras and our team at the back. For those of you who are joining us online, we encourage you to put questions in the chat or the comments in the YouTube Live, and during our question and answer period, AC staff member will read those out. So if you're joining us online, we encourage you to participate in the workshop portion as well. And with that, I will welcome Erica. Oh, you're good. You don't need this. Perfect.
Is it on? You can hear me now? We're good to go? All right. Thank you for that. Good evening, ladies. Thank you for being here. I am extremely grateful for your time and attention, and I promise that it will not go to waste. Because while so many others are at home stressing about AI coming for their jobs, you are here tonight to learn to take your career power back by mastering something that is completely within your control. Your professional personal brand. Now, I am going to kick us off with an uncomfortable, low vibration thought, and then I promise I will bring us right back up. I want you to think about the last time you found out that you did not get the thing, the job, the promotion, the client, the sales number, the thing that you believed to your core that you had earned. You put in the work, you imagined what it would be like to get it and how it would change your life, and then you found out the answer was no. How did that feel? A knot in your stomach? Frustration, disappointment, feeling sorry for yourself, followed by an endless thought spiral about what you did wrong and why you didn't get it. Now, I am here tonight to make sure that for the rest of your career, whenever you really go for the thing that's aligned with your path, the thing that's meant for you, you get it earned with the least amount of wasted energy possible. Not only that, I want to help you attract opportunities that you didn't even realize existed. Because we are not here to burn out hustling, and we are not here to get overlooked. We are here to get recognized, valued, and paid accordingly. This is a room full of highly capable, brilliant women. By showing up here tonight, you've already told yourself something very important. You are not going to leave your career to chance. You have chosen to step into your role as the designer of your career. Because you already know the truth. Life doesn't reward the people who sit on the sidelines. It rewards the ones who are playing the game. And here's the reality. We need to be seen to get chosen. The business system that we have all chosen to participate in is going to continue to reward the professionals that know what they want and how to present themselves as the obvious choice. Did you know that within seconds of landing on your LinkedIn profile, a decision maker has already made up their mind about you in a lot of ways? Not about whether you're qualified, but whether they think they can trust you. Whether they think they can trust you to deliver and make them look good for choosing you. Because trust is what unlocks opportunity. It's what makes someone say, I want her on my team. I want her leading that project, and I want her speaking on that stage. Now, when someone looks at your profile or your resume, they are not just scanning for credentials. They are asking themselves, if I recommend her, how will that reflect on me? At the end of the day, every decision maker is subconsciously asking one very simple question. What do I think this person can do for me? So, what is the goal then of professional personal branding? Because it's not to go viral, or to be popular, or to be seen by everyone, or even to be admired. The goal of professional personal branding is to make it very easy for the right people to see you and trust you. Because when the right people can see you and trust you, they can choose you for the roles, the projects, and the opportunities that are aligned with your goals. Now, tonight, we are going to help you craft a personal brand that makes you the obvious choice in the decision maker's mind for the opportunities you want most. And by the end of this session, you will have a very clear idea of how to use the 4 pillars of a powerful personal brand to attract dream jobs, clients, and opportunities that are aligned with your goals, how to clarify and communicate your unique value so employers, investors, and potential clients see you as the obvious choice, and build lasting credibility by connecting with others, telling your story, and being of service. And you will leave with your very own I Want Her positioning map in your personal branding playbook that you all have. Now, before we get into it, I want to do a quick reflection on my journey, how building out my professional personal brand has changed my life, and why I truly believe it is the ultimate key to designing your career with intention. Now, I grew up about as far away as you can get from entrepreneurship in a very risk-averse household. It was not anywhere on my radar to start a company. I chose my first job out of school based on what I saw my dad do. Capital markets had good earning potential and a high-energy work environment for a former competitive athlete like me. But it turns out I didn't enjoy finance at all. So a few years in, I kept reading about young people starting tech companies. I had some money in the bank by this point, and I thought, I like big goals. How hard can it be? So I used my evenings and weekends to build a clickable prototype. Shout out to BrainStation. I began to attend tech startup events and network like my life depended on it. And then in early 2017, I officially left my stable salary in finance to give it a real shot. And on that crazy journey, I met so many people. And what they were seeing was a young woman on a mission, passionate, goal-oriented, energetic, and willing to take action. So when the pandemic hit and I wound down my tech startup after 3.5 years of building, something really interesting started to happen. Opportunities came to me immediately, not because of my resume, not because of my failed startup, but because of my professional, personal brand, what I had suddenly become known for in the tech space. Employers and investors were actively seeking me out, asking what I was up to next. Now, that transition in my career taught me something very critical. Your personal brand is your ultimate career insurance policy, because as soon as you've built a reputation for taking action and delivering something of value, opportunities can find you. Now, I am not here to tell you to start a tech startup, because I will be the first to admit that that extremely challenging journey is not for everyone, and it's not on my radar to do it again anytime soon. But I did learn something very critical during that transition from founder back to employee. Your story is a huge piece of your career strategy. Most women underestimate just how much power there is in connecting the dots between where they've been and where they want to go next. Because it's not the job titles that get you chosen. It's the story you can tell that connects your past results to your future potential. Your past is your proof, and when you can tell a compelling story about your career journey, the things you've learned and the decisions you've made, you can get just about anywhere you want to go. Now, if you are sitting there thinking, but Erica, I didn't start a tech company, my past doesn't really prove that much, I'm going to kindly and lovingly disagree with you, because every job has countless stories, and at some point in the past 3 years, you were asked to achieve something with very little guidance, or you worked for someone with really high standards, and if they said nothing, that was the greatest compliment in the world, or you got complimented on something that you worked so hard on and it meant the world, or you got openly criticized in front of others and you had to learn to improve fast. No matter what you've been through, there is a way to position it in your mind and then in your story to make you the obvious choice for whatever you want next. Because every work project or moment of feedback has a story that can be told about how to get to where you want to go next, how you've already demonstrated how capable you are. Now, what is a personal brand, and why does it matter to you? The truth is, every professional already has a personal brand. A personal brand is simply impression plus reputation. Impression is what people experience in the moment, how you show up in a meeting, or on LinkedIn, or at an event like this, or in a casual conversation. And then your reputation is what stays behind. It's your track record of results. It's your consistency and your credibility over time. Put those two things together, and that is your professional, personal brand. Both matter, and both are extremely powerful when they're used intentionally. Now, your impression is like the movie trailer, so it can certainly draw attention, but your reputation is then the full movie. Both matter, but without the full movie, nobody's going to confidently recommend it to someone else later. A strong personal brand is both immediate and lasting. So if someone were to say, oh, she has a strong personal brand, what they are really saying is her presence is impactful and she has the track record to back it up. So why does it matter to you? Besides the fact that it forces you to get crystal clear on who you are, what you are good at, and where you want to go next, here are the top 3 reasons from my perspective. Opportunities come with trust. People do not buy resumes. They do not buy LinkedIn profiles. They buy belief in you. And when you can tell a very compelling story about why you are trustworthy, it is way more easy. It is much easier for someone to choose you to make a decision to choose you as the natural fit for the position you want most. Reason number 2, it future-proofs your career. Roles change, industries evolve, skills become outdated, but your ability to hold value in a world that is rapidly changing is based on your professional, personal brand, the value that you can bring, the stories that you can tell. And reason number 3, it is your unique differentiator. It answers the question, why you over someone else? So, I want to make this very practical for you. And so everything that we talk about here today is valuable if you have an understanding of what you want your personal brand to help you unlock. So if you open up your workbook, you will see at the very beginning, think about a few ideas, a few thoughts about what you want your personal brand to help you unlock. Maybe it's leadership opportunities. Maybe it's exciting projects that are aligned with your future goals. Maybe it's speaking opportunities, speaking on panels, being recognized in your industry. What do you want your personal brand to help you unlock? Now, I want to help you craft a personal brand that works for you every single day. So when a decision maker looks at you, your profile, your background, your work, they're asking themselves, who is she? What does she stand for? Can I trust her to deliver? That is exactly what your personal brand is going to answer. So it is built on 4 pillars. And you can see in your workbook, you will see the I want her positioning map. Her stands for highly effective and recognized. And as we move through each one, take some notes in your workbook. We could spend an hour on each piece, but we are today just going to jot down the first things that come to mind. And if you want to do a deeper reflection later, you absolutely can do that. And the goal is very simple: to make you the obvious choice in a decision maker's mind for the opportunities that you want most. Let's make it very, very easy for the right people to see you and trust you. Now, this does assume that you already know what you want next in your career. And for so many women, that is the hardest part. We have so many passions and interests, potential directions to go in. Now, my take on this is that if you want to really accelerate your career, choose one goal. Choose one goal, charge at it with everything that you've got, and in the process of becoming the person that has the result, you will figure out whether or not this is actually what you want. And not only that, you will also attract new aligned opportunities that you weren't necessarily expecting. Action is always superior to inaction. So for the sake of this personal branding exercise, let's assume you know exactly what you want next in your career. And we will go from there. Now let's move on to pillar number 1. Pillar number 1, identity, who you are. So this is the foundation of everything else that we cover today. So this answers the question, who are you? What do you stand for? It's not your profile, it's not your job title, it's not your resume. This is your values, your strengths, your interests, and your unique perspective. No matter where you want to go in your career, no matter how many times you want to pivot, this is the stuff that doesn't really change. It is deeply ingrained into who you are as a person. Now, in your workbook, think about this. Obviously, you have very limited space, and you could write a full page, I'm sure, on each of these questions. But we want to think about, okay, what are my values? What are my strengths? What lights me up? What makes me who I am? Think about your unique journey and why that positions you as the obvious choice for something that you want next. Now, I want to be very clear. Your values only really matter to you to help you make decisions that feel aligned with the life that you want to live. So you do not need to necessarily tell anyone your values or post them anywhere, or put them on LinkedIn. They're really just there to act as your decision-making compass, to make sure you are happy with the life and the decisions that you're making, the life you are living. Besides, even if you told someone that integrity was one of your core values, that's not going to mean much to them unless you prove it with your actions. Now, these are the kinds of things that my clients have come up with when we talk about, okay, what are your strengths and what are your interests? And I love to think about strengths and interests as the more overlap we have between strengths and interests, the more we maximize our career satisfaction. If we can become really good at the things that we love to do, we will maximize our career satisfaction. Now, on to pillar number 2, positioning. What you do and for whom. Now, when we are very clear on who we are, we can think about what we do and for whom. So I could write a novel on this one, and I think it's the toughest to get right, partially because I failed at it for the first 18 months of my coaching business. But your positioning is going to change every time your focus changes and every time your goal changes. This is where your personal brand starts to take shape in the real world, right? Identity is about who you are, knowing yourself, really important, but positioning is about showing others how and where you create value. This niche down topic concept is highly controversial, and here's why. We are all unique. We all have so many passions, so many interests, so many strengths. How could we possibly niche down to just one specific thing? Isn't that limiting? And my belief, once again, is that when you have a specific goal, it is very, very, very helpful for decision makers if you position yourself as very, very focused on acting as the solution to the problem that someone is desperately trying to solve. If you speak about the problem that someone is desperately trying to solve, they can way more easily choose you as the solution. So when you pick a lane, it is much easier for a decision maker looking to solve that problem, something that you're speaking to, and it's much easier to get recognized as the obvious choice. So, your positioning is going to answer who you serve, what problem you solve, and what makes you different. So, in your workbook, obviously there is limited space, but who you serve can just be what is that audience? What are those teams? What is the industry? What are the teams? What are the people that you love to serve? And what do you love to help them with? What is that problem that you can help people solve? What problem are you really good at solving, and what can people count on you for? And then, of course, what is your differentiator? What is that experience or skill that helps to set you apart? If you can't clearly articulate what you do and for whom, you are just not as memorable or as noteworthy in the mind of a decision maker. But when your positioning is strong, you can be seen as the go-to person for something specific. So I want to show you some examples. If you were a people and culture partner or HRBP, maybe your niche is fast-growing tech startups. The problem you solve is misalignment between people strategy and business goals. What makes you different is you're able to proactively design people systems that scale as fast as the business does. And of course, you would only say something like this if you have past experience to back it up. Or an enterprise customer success manager. So maybe your niche is B2B SaaS. You love to serve enterprise clients. The problem you solve is customer churn and underutilization of product. What makes you different is that you are able to turn usage data into customer stories that can help the executives understand the why behind the numbers. Now, obviously, those are AI-generated examples. When I am workshopping niche messaging with my clients, we like to start with the help of AI, taking in all of our data, all of our past experiences, and then we make them way more specific and much simpler to communicate. We really, really want to speak to short attention spans. Now, pillar number 3 is storytelling, how you communicate. Now, this is where your personal brand can really come alive. Storytelling and the sharing of your unique perspective based on your unique journey is how you turn your experience into credibility. It's the bridge between where you've been and where you're going next. Facts tell people what you've done, and stories show people who you are and how you make decisions in given circumstances. Now, there is a powerful story in every single job. So take a look at your workbook. Here's what I want you to think about. What stories from your past experiences are the most relevant based on where you want to go next? So we don't need to think about our entire career history, just the key moments that show your growth, your motivations, and how you make decisions as it relates to the goal that you have. What stories would a decision maker be the most interested in based on where you want to go next? So my favorite way to approach each job, if you wanted to go through your entire career history, to do a review and then come up with some of these answers to connect the dots. Okay, what are the most relevant stories? My favorite reflection to do is for each past role, take a look at what motivated you to take the role. What did you learn and contribute while you were in it? And then, what motivated you to move on? When we can answer this is a very effective way to direct focus and show how you make decisions and allow people to understand your motivations and understand what you do in given circumstances. When there's always things that are out of our control, how do you actually make decisions? So this is where you start crafting a concise, magnetic narrative, because you can tell your story clearly and confidently. And at that point, people don't just understand what you do, they remember who you are and how you make decisions. That's what helps them think, okay, I want her. I get this. I get how all these pieces work together. I want her. Preparing to tell the story of each of your past experiences through an empowered lens is going to give you the confidence to position yourself as the obvious choice for whatever it is that you want next. And now, pillar number 4, visibility, where you are seen. Now, you can have the best story in the world, but if no one hears it, it can't really help you. So visibility helps us actually get in front of people and get people's attention, the right people, where it matters and where it counts. So the questions to reflect on for pillar number 4 for visibility is, how will new people meet you and how will people observe your value? Now, I am going to give you very clear examples of each of these to allow you to think about it. So how will new people meet you? What is your preferred method of networking? Now, thankfully, for all of us in this room, there are no shortage of tech events to attend these days, and there's no shortage of interesting groups to participate in. So the best advice that I can give you as it relates to networking is that we need to go into networking intentionally, or else it is very easy to overdo it with networking and to burn out. It is very easy for any of us to think, I'm not doing enough. And that is a fast path to become resentful of our careers and burnout. So think about networking very intentionally. And this is where your values come into play, right? So if we think about networking intentionally, for me personally, in order to go into any situation intentionally, I am not participating in more than one extracurricular group at a time, or else I'm not going to get value from it. And I personally am at a stage where I'm not interested in attending more than one live event per month. So I like to think about my capacity for networking on a monthly or a quarterly basis. That is a way to get excited about the opportunities, to muster up the energy for every individual situation, and to get the most value from it possible. We do not want to burn out, and we do not want to become resentful of our careers ever. And then we want to ask, how will people observe your value? I don't want you to get any anxiety from this very long list, very similar to the previous train of thought. We want to go into all pieces of visibility intentionally. So when you look at this, think about what you actually want to show people. How do you want people to observe your value? 99% of people have no interest in becoming a content creator. That's not what we want to do here. But maybe you're crushing it at work right now. Maybe one step forward for visibility just means asking a peer, a colleague, a leader at your company, like, hey, could you just write a recommendation for me on LinkedIn? I can even draft it for you. Or maybe this means if you had a really cool win at work and you just want to make sure that you remember it for the next time you need it, the next time you want someone to trust you for something new, maybe a win at work just becomes one LinkedIn post or one LinkedIn article. You do not need to become a content creator. All we want to do with our digital presence is give someone a reason to trust you with the opportunities you want most, right? Any job application is receiving hundreds of applicants. And so if you can give someone a way to say, hey, I've done this kind of thing before, and here's the kind of value that I bring, make your digital presence work for you. Make your digital presence do some of the heavy lifting. Now, when you can meet new people and showcase your value, meet new people, showcase your value, your personal brand will compound. It will get stronger with time. More people will understand who you are and what you're great at. So, you have 4 pillars of a powerful personal brand here: identity, positioning, storytelling, and visibility. When all of these are connected and aligned, something shifts. When all of these are connected and aligned, opportunities can start finding you. Who you are, again, values, strengths, interests, and perspective. What you do and for whom is your current professional lane based on your specific goal. How you communicate is through credible storytelling to make you memorable. And where and how you show up is meet new people, showcase your value. Meet new people, showcase your value. Now, I am going to help you bring all of this together in an I want her sentence, because the more we can help people connect the dots between the things we've done and where we want to go next, the easier it is for them to choose us for the opportunities that are aligned with the personal brand that we have now crafted. So, in your workbook, you will see at the very end, I am known for blank, and I'm passionate about blank. I will show you how to think about this. So I am known for helping who with what. And I'm passionate about what outcome. I bring your strengths, your skills to who, so that what outcome gets achieved. Now, even looking at it like that is still not very easy to understand, so let me show you once again some examples. Example number 1, people and culture partner, or HRBP. I'm known for... Did this turn off? Oh, there we go. Helping fast-growing startups attract and retain the right people. I'm passionate about building scalable cultures where people and performance can thrive. I bring clear solutions to leadership teams so that they can stay focused on business growth. Or, example number 2, enterprise customer success manager. I'm known for helping enterprise clients translate product data into stories that inspire action. I'm passionate about creating trusted partnerships that drive measurable growth. I bring curiosity, accountability, and storytelling to every client relationship so that clients don't just stay. They expand and they advocate. Now, once again, those were AI-generated examples, but it kind of gives you an idea of how to think about connecting all the dots. Now, I want to make this very practical for you. That line, those lines, are too long for your LinkedIn title. It's too many words. People don't have long enough attention spans for that. You can put a portion of that line in your title if it feels aligned to you based on where you're going next, but consider putting that full phrase in your About section on LinkedIn or at the top of your resume. Again, all we're trying to do is take all of these pieces and connect the dots so that someone looks at us and can understand the story right away and say, oh, she's perfect for this opportunity. So now you have a framework that works for you, that helps you attract aligned career opportunities. If we think about how to develop a strong personal brand, we want to think about all of these pillars individually and really reflect on, is this still in alignment? Is this still what I want? Now, I want to make this very practical for you because that is a lot of information to absorb, and those are a lot of questions that I'm sure you could do very deep reflection on for a long time. So which aspects of your professional personal brand matter most? For long-term optionality and career fulfillment, I believe it is very important to understand who you are and how you make decisions and what your motivations are, what are your strengths, and then visibility. Meet new people, showcase your value. Meet new people, showcase your value. If only those two things are done, aligned opportunities will find you. Those are the things that get stronger with time. They truly do compound. When I shut down my tech startup, I knew what kinds of things that I was good at, and I knew a ton of people. But I didn't necessarily know what my perfect role was going to look like next, and I didn't really know how to tell my story yet. So what I did know is the kinds of things that I was really good at, and a lot of people had seen that in action. I knew a lot of people, and I knew what I was good at. Those are the only things that happened to allow me to attract opportunities. They weren't necessarily the right opportunities right away, but it allowed me to attract opportunities regardless, and options are our friend. Now, for speed to results, this is where the positioning and the storytelling comes in. Because the more specific your goal, the more specific your positioning should be. So when you know what kind of job you want, what kind of company you want to work for, what kind of client you want to work with, you will get chosen much faster when you speak to the exact problem that you help someone solve. Your positioning and storytelling can get you in the door much faster. Positioning and storytelling are shorter-term plays. And as soon as I figured this out, my positioning and storytelling shifted to direct focus every time I changed jobs, and then every time I've pivoted my coaching business. It changes based on the point I'm trying to get across and the opportunities or the clients that I'm trying to attract. Specific goals require specific language to speed up your path to get chosen. Now, I want you to remember this in order to use everything that we've talked about very, very, very effectively. Remember this. Mistakes in your career are never the problem, and rejection in your career is never the problem. They are proof that you're learning. They are proof that you're trying. They are proof that you're growing, and they are necessary components of playing the game. These things are inevitable. Now, what I want you to do is remember that your story is your power and your journey is unique. As a professional participating in this business system, I believe it is your responsibility to yourself to craft a personal brand that makes it easy for people to offer you aligned career opportunities. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be clear, consistent, and memorable, because clarity turns you into the obvious choice for something specific. Consistency builds trust, and compelling storytelling makes you unforgettable. And all of that put together allows someone to say, all right, I want her. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. What very practical action are you taking as a result of this workshop? Which piece of your personal brand do you really want to start with? Do you want to start doing some values reflection and strengths reflection? Do you want to start with your identity? Do you want to move into that positioning to say, okay, I've got one specific goal that could work for me. Maybe I'll charge at that one and work on your positioning to get chosen much faster. Your storytelling, understanding how to connect the dots for someone between your past results, your past experiences, and where you want to go next. Or do you want to focus on your visibility, meeting new people, showcasing your value, meeting new people, showcasing your value? Now, if this conversation did spark something in you, if you want someone to workshop some of these with, please book an intro chat with me through my website. I love doing this work. I have amazing clients. So I currently offer private one-on-one coaching and a weekly group program. And I am really excited. I offer 1 month and 3 month coaching packages. My clients are getting amazing results. They're getting offers. They're getting responses from LinkedIn messages that they haven't seen in maybe a year. It is a lot of fun to have someone else in your head and helping you figure out, how do I connect the dots? Like, you almost know your own story too well that you need somebody, a third-party person, to say, oh, okay, I see how we can craft this narrative. And directing focus is kind to decision makers. You can make it easy, make their jobs easy to choose you. Now, your career story is about to get really, really good. So thank you for participating in this workshop. Thank you for taking some notes. Thank you for your patience with the microphone. And Thank you for being here. I am cheering you on always. I want all of the aligned opportunities to come to you because your humanity in the world of AI, your humanity, your story, your perspectives is the differentiator. Never underestimate the fact that every single one of you is unique and powerful and has a story to be told based on your unique journey. Please connect with me on LinkedIn if we are not connected already. My name is Erica Pearson, and I am working on LinkedIn is where I meet new people, and YouTube is where I showcase my value on a weekly basis. So I love to teach and share value through my new YouTube channel. You can find lots of good insights there. And now I would love to take any questions. I'm an open book.
We have this fun little mic. I will throw it to you, and that will be your prompt to ask the question. All I ask is you hold it this close to your face so that we can hear you. Right.
Please ask questions.
I'm wondering if you have advice for people who are looking at a career pivot. So in terms of like the niching down and knowing exactly who you want to serve and that specificity, when you're just kind of at a high level evaluating like a new field, for instance, you're maybe disenchanted with where you are, but don't know exactly what the future looks like.
Yes, I love that question. Thank you. And I get a lot of that early discovery stage of like, I might be ready to pivot and I might be interested in this industry. And so how do I start to connect the dots? This is where the meet new people comes in. My belief is that through conversations in a direction that you think you might want to go in, a lot of the answers can be revealed because you don't really understand what a different industry is like until you understand what it's like to be in that person's shoes. And the beautiful part about that is like meeting new people through a one-on-one coffee chat or just a very direct message, like keeping LinkedIn messages very direct. Like my favorite recommendation to my clients is ask someone, hey, this is what I would love to hear from you. Can I have 15 minutes of your time? And if they say, I'm too busy, ask a question over Messenger. Like that is fine. The beautiful thing is about talking to someone in an industry that you think you might want to explore, they can potentially help you connect the dots. Being like, oh, based on this thing that you've done, that's how this actually fits into this industry. And I think there's a ton of value in just understanding the new industry better to help you get clarity. Thanks.
I didn't have to catch far. Hi, my question is, do you find that you have to reiterate your personal brand often? And if often, how often should you do it? And if someone is finding that you're reiterating your personal brand often, is that a problem with identity, or like what do they need to nail down on to really solidify it?
Yeah, that is a great question. So I believe the personal brand overall stays pretty consistent. Positioning, I would say, the positioning and storytelling are the thing that do shift based on your specific goal. So if we go back to identity, right, like your values are probably not going to change. Your strengths are very helpful to think through. Your unique experiences, unique perspective, like all of the things in your identity largely stay the same and stay consistent, and your ability to meet new people and showcase your value. Yes, the value may change a little bit, but if people still know, oh, she does this work, she adds value here, oh, and now she adds value over there, you're still doing something, right? Like I think all of us are aware that careers are not 30-year careers anymore, right? And so I thought a lot about how many times I changed my positioning and just to give everyone a little bit of context. So wound down my tech startup at the start of the pandemic. League offered me a job. I took it for 6 months, and then another startup that was building from the ground up offered me a job, and I was getting bored at League, so I jumped over there. And then I started to realize that I could use positioning and storytelling to actually get where I wanted to go, because both of those first two roles weren't quite right. So I started to shift my positioning and my storytelling based on the next goal. And now, if we think about changing our LinkedIn headline, for example. Like, oh, what if someone notices that I'm changing this too often because I can't make up my mind? People are not watching us as closely as you think they are. Maybe someone sees your profile now and maybe they're going to see it 3 months from now and it's going to be different. It's probably going to be different regardless of whether you changed it 12 times during that period or you changed it only once. So I thought a lot about this because, again, like when I started my coaching business, I pivoted a ton. I tried to do mindset coaching at first, and then motherhood transitions for women coming back to work. And that, like, I pivoted so frequently. I was like, if anyone was watching this, they will think I'm insane. But that's what got me to now being able to talk about career strategy and personal branding, because the few clients that I was landing during all of those pivots, they all started to land jobs. So I started to talk about that more clearly. So I didn't hesitate to pivot because I knew that I was getting closer to the answer. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I'm just going to go off of the pivoting. If you're pivoting into a new type of role that you don't have past experience with, that could be a challenge for certain people that look at that as a disadvantage. What would you recommend in that case when it comes to your story?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the kind of role where you don't necessarily have the skills required to move into that role, is that what you're asking?
You might have transferable skills, but maybe not exactly what they're looking for typically in that role.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually want to go back to one of these slides because this is my favorite way to talk about it. Like, what motivated you to take the role? What did you learn and contribute when you were in it? And then what motivated you to move on? Generally, we just want to give people an idea of how we make decisions, right? Within companies, there are always things that are out of our control, right? And so when we can tell a story about those past roles, it helps people think, oh, would that be transferable for this? What we want to do is tell our story with as much conviction and confidence as possible, right? So answering these questions for yourself and actually practicing answering a question like, tell me about your past roles, this crafts a very compelling story. So even if you don't necessarily have, and there are definitely, like, if somebody tried to hire me as a software engineer right now, it wouldn't happen, right? Like, maybe I have some transferable skills because I love to problem solve, but like, there are certain requirements that it just wouldn't be a good fit. So there is, I'm trying to look for the words to say this. There is a way, a tasteful way to say, based on these past experiences, here's why I believe I could figure out anything that I haven't done before. And I think the more people that you talk to in that kind of role that you are applying to, for example, without the experience, the more insight you can say. In an interview, one of my favorite things to say was always, when I talked to this person, this is the thing that they shared with me about this situation, right? Talking to people and getting insights that you can use and bring up helps you so much, because it's like, I cared enough to do the research to know whether or not I was capable of doing a role like this.
I'm curious if an example comes to mind of how you found you're building your personal brand helped with your tech startup or opportunity sense and like bringing in those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So how personal branding, I actually hadn't connected the dots necessarily about how important a personal brand was while I was building my tech startup. I just went full blown like, okay, we're building this clickable prototype. I found a software engineer as a partner. I did all of the things that you would do to build a tech startup. And then we got clients across North America, which was very helpful. But at that point, the only thing that I was thinking about is early investors are seeing, like, they're essentially investing in me. So I wanted to make sure that, whether I had thought about it in this phrase before, but my entire job was visibility. My entire job was meet new people, showcase my value. And so thankfully, most of the conferences and opportunities to speak for my startup was technically a blend of HR tech, fintech, and travel tech. So I was looking at all of these events. This is why I talk about burnout in networking, because I absolutely did burn out during my tech startup because I overdid it with events. But what I thought about is I just need to be visible everywhere. If I get up on a stage and speak, and they were always looking for women that started tech companies to speak at events, which was very helpful. If I get on a stage and speak, then the people that that are going to come talk to me are the people that actually are interested in what I'm doing. So I very much took advantage of, I'm going to get on every single stage that will take me, so that will make my job much easier. So that is how I guess I thought about personal branding from a tech startup. Like, it really was about visibility. I think there are other ways, depending on your skills, depending on your strengths. Like, I like speaking on stage, so I used that to my advantage. But if you said, you know what, like, maybe you have a little bit of a better eye for marketing. Maybe you have an ability to whip up an Instagram account and jump on all the trends and like get more visibility that way. Like, we really need to lean into our own skills and strengths depending on what our goal is. And from an investor perspective, I raised $500,000 from a handful of investors, never venture capital, so I don't have any experience landing venture capital money, but it was very much that meet new people, showcase your value. That was the full strategy. Has anyone tried before to consistently do something like creating content on LinkedIn or figure out some of the marketing trends for the purpose of visibility? Has anyone gone through that? Yeah. I feel like it's a rite of passage at this point in this world. But I mean, some people are unnatural at it. Some people, it comes very naturally to them. I did Instagram for 12 months of my coaching business, and it did not yield any results, partially because I actually joked about this with my coaches. I said, I think the reason Instagram doesn't work for me is because I don't like it. Like, I don't want to be on it, so that's why I'm not getting results from it, because I'm looking for an excuse to never be on it again. That was what I wanted. And now, like, spending all of my time from a visibility perspective, today I do 2 longer form videos a week, and sometimes I'll take the entire script and turn it into a LinkedIn article or something like that. So the only places I show up now, no more Instagram, no Meta, no Facebook groups, no nothing. I tried those paths. For my audience at this point, LinkedIn and YouTube is working great. I have not, at this point, generated leads from YouTube. I think it's always interesting to think through, okay, what actually brings leads? YouTube is more my showcase, my value, like prove to people that I actually talk about this, I actually do this. I'm not just, it is very easy to call yourself a coach. It is very easy to call yourself a coach, and I am just sort of trying to show people, like, no, I do work with clients, I do get them results, these are the things I love to talk about, I like to speak about this. So I just like to think about each path very intentionally.
We do have a question from someone online. Erica, what do you think about using an AI agent to help you prepare things like LinkedIn posts? Has this worked for you? And what are some tips if you want to go down that road?
That is a great question. It is very helpful to use AI to shorten the path to creating content. So my process, for example, when I'm thinking about YouTube content that also becomes LinkedIn content, because I just repurpose the 2 longer form videos that I do in a week, to come up with those scripts, I mean, you're going to hear it again and again and again, but like the prompt. What is the prompt? I am speaking to this audience. This is what they're looking for. This is their problem right now, and this is how I want to help them. These are my thoughts for when I want to talk about identity, positioning, storytelling, the things that I am talking about, my personal brand. Help me, and I will put these prompts in. I use both ChatGPT and I use Claude. I hadn't heard about Claude, but a lot of other YouTubers started to use Claude for a different perspective, a more human touch. So I've gone back and forth between the 2. And my thought is, make sure the prompt includes you, includes the humanness, includes the kinds of ideas that you would come up with. Because even creating a script for this presentation, for example, I heard myself, because I used AI and I workshopped a little bit of it at the very beginning, I heard the lines that we see thousands of times a day. Like, I didn't use it in this presentation, but this stopped me in my tracks. How many times have we seen the line, this stopped me in my tracks? Or, but here's the truth. Like, it's those pauses, and I see them everywhere. And because I use AI for my content, a lot of the time can see it in people's posts. So I think AI is extremely valuable because we want to cut down on the time that it takes for us to deliver things, to put things out on LinkedIn. My approach is just always make it as personalized as possible. Create the best version of it yourself and then feed it to AI, and maybe it'll clean it up a little bit and expand on it.
Who's next? I saw a hand. Another. Oh.
That's a far throw.
Halfway in between.
Woo.
I'm just thinking about the list you had, like LinkedIn, that big long list. What about for someone within your existing organization? Like, can you share some ideas of ways that you could kind of make yourself seen or put yourself forward in a corporate environment, perhaps, that maybe you don't, like, for instance, my LinkedIn is, I don't do anything online like that. So how can you get yourself visible in maybe a traditional corporate environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this comes back to how I've supported some of my clients from a messaging perspective. I think it is very helpful because everyone is busy, or our calendars are full. Everyone is busy. Everyone has things that are important. Everyone is dealing with life and with work. And so the kindest thing that you can do for people when you're asking for something is to be very clear and direct. What are you trying to get out of them, right? And so even if it's asking for a 30-minute coffee chat, what I've learned in building out this coaching business is that 95% of opportunities come from conversations. You need to find ways to have conversations. Like, if you are not having a conversation with someone, they're not as likely to think about you. And so reaching out to someone in your organization saying, hey, person above me, or a lateral move, whatever it might be, I'm in this current role, I'm interested in this kind of thing. Would you mind if we spent 30 minutes having a coffee chat? I would love to buy you a Starbucks gift card. Something like that, a personal touch, just to say, I'm extremely grateful if you spend any time with me. Here's what I'm trying to get out of it. I think we are all, and this comes back to the trust piece, right? We are all looking for reasons to trust people. We want to trust. If we're investing time with someone, like, why can we trust them to use it intentionally? I think where things come across as disingenuous is if you see somebody adds you on LinkedIn and then they try to pretend they're just having a casual conversation, but eventually they end up asking for something. Sometimes the kindest path is just to be very direct and say, this is what I do. Is there alignment? Like, can I speak with you? This is what I'm trying to get out of it. What can I do in return? I think we're all just really human and we're all really busy. And so the more clear and direct we can be with people, the easier it is to get results or have more conversations.
If there's someone in mind that you know would really help if you had some of their time, but people are busy, they don't always answer back, but you really want to tell your story to that person because they're instrumental in potentially helping you get to your goal, how often would you recommend reaching out to that person before it becomes disrespectful or irritating?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it depends on the context. So if it's someone within your company, it depends versus like a random person on LinkedIn. So let's pretend it's a random person on LinkedIn. You added them and you want to learn a little bit about their company because there's a job open, or maybe you just think that one day there could be alignment to join. From my perspective, and I worked on with one of my clients on this very recently, we sent an initial message. Thank you for accepting my connection request. This was my motivation for doing it. Do you have some time? And then wait maybe a week, assume that they saw it in that week. And I think somebody said it very beautifully in a LinkedIn post that I saw last week, actually. If the answer is absolutely not, they'll say no. You're going to get an answer if the person's like, I don't have time, absolutely not. But if you follow up a week later and say, I want to be respectful of your time, I know you're incredibly busy, the reason that I'm motivated to talk to you is because of XYZ, like the more we can be specific and say, this is why I'm really motivated for this, it would mean the world if you could respond. being kind, compassionate, and specific in our conversations is extremely helpful because, again, a lot of people are being asked for, can I pick your brain? And that's just not going to work anymore. Like, we need to be more specific than, can I pick your brain? So this is why I'm motivated. This is why I'm reaching out. I have a lot of respect for, the trajectory, the way you've moved up in your organization over the last 4 years. I see that you've been promoted a few times. Like, the more specific we can be, the more someone knows, oh, they're not just blanket messaging everyone like this. They actually paid attention to me, and they think I specifically can have something to teach them. And people genuinely love helping others. They love feeling like they can share some sort of insight. Like, I believe that as you move up, you want to give to the people that are a few steps behind you. So my belief is that if the answer is no, they'll come back and tell you no. And then I guess to specifically answer your question, I would probably send a weekly message for the first 4 weeks for a new connection. And then if there's no response after 4 weeks, I might leave it. It's a personal boundaries and a comfort level thing, but that's generally my cadence.
Thank you. Hi, Erica. So how can someone with multiple professional identities create one cohesive brand? So example, I have a food manufacturing company where we produce food products and we export to other countries. I have collaborations with a number of international organizations like the FAO, and now I'm coming into the tech industry. How can I build that using the trust I built with FAO and other organizations in the tech industry? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I want my initial answer to be, let's chat, book a call on my calendar. But to answer it for the group and to actually just try to explain how I would approach it, I would look at, okay, what am I doing in each of these industries and how do I want to present myself? Like, I always like to ask myself, what is my purpose of if I'm putting a profile on LinkedIn or I'm putting any kind of presence anywhere in any kind of social media, what is my purpose? Like, why am I using this channel? What interest am I trying to drive? Whose attention am I trying to attract? Because if you said, okay, well, I'm going to use my LinkedIn profile because I want to meet more women in tech, for example, and I want to show that I have these other interesting lanes that I've been working through. I think there's a way to craft that story like, I'm moving into tech, I'm really excited to move into tech, and these are the other things that I've done that are going to help me bring this really unique, really powerful perspective, because not a lot of people would have the kind of experience that you have, which is really cool. Like, there's someone somewhere that needs that experience. We're good? Good? No more questions? Thank you.